Buzz Canuck. And welcome to both of you.
Good to be here.
April, let's begin with you. Why do you love the BlackBerry?
Sure, there's a bunch of reasons why I love this device. First of all, I do a lot of email. I get 200, 300 emails a day. On my commute on the subway, I commute about 35 minutes, and I can do 30 emails on this device. I type really fast, really accurately with the keyboard.
And it has a full keyboard.
It does have a full keyboard, so that is one of the big differences between the two devices. The second thing is that there's a real-time communications component to the BlackBerry that you don't get on other devices. When I have a message or an email, I can see from this, there's this indicator light here. You can program it to flash different colors for different people. So if my boss sent me an email, I can see one color. If it's somebody else, I can see it another color. The last thing is that the device is really, really durable. I'm pretty hard on my devices, so I have a habit of dropping them, and I tend to carry my device in my pocket, and several times I pull it out, it'll go flying across the room. And occasionally I'll lose the back cover, but I pop it back on and it still works. So I don't have to baby this device at all. It actually works pretty good, even though I'm hard on it.
So Sean, as you listen to that, is it a clear win here for the BlackBerry?
See, I'm a recent convert, so this is very fresh. I know the BlackBerry very well. The one thing, I mean, you look at the iPhone compared to the BlackBerry, and I hate to say it, but the BlackBerry looks like a cinder block compared to this. I probably had a BlackBerry for 6 years and was asked by 2 people, could I look at that? Over the last 4 days, I've been asked by 15 people to look at this.
But that's because it's cool. It has the cool factor.
There's a narcissistic quality to it, sure, but I would also say that it's as close to a TV as I've ever seen in a mobile unit. And for me, I mean, there's no squinting. I can go through apps and different features fairly easily. And what that leads to is I'm now doing stuff that I would have had to wait to do on a laptop. Now I do it on my iPhone. Whereas in a BlackBerry, sure, if it was messaging or email, no problem. I would do that wherever I was. Now I'm actually doing stuff that I would have reserved for computer time.
What about the email component, though? Because we hear all the time that the BlackBerry is so perfect, you know, has the keyboard, you can work quickly, and that some say is a little bit more awkward.
I've actually been surprised because I was a conscientious resistor, and I thought the QWERTY keyboard and not having the little 2 fingers going.
And you can show us the screen there. Yeah.
And so this is the screen. I've actually found that I've been surprised, actually. My learning curve was actually a little bit better, and yeah, it comes to you fairly quickly. I gave this to my uncle the other day, and he actually was doing it in a matter of seconds. So it's fairly intuitively smart. I mean, Apple has this amazing ability to stitch together stuff. And I have to say the other thing that kind of hands down Apple wins versus its competitors. 200,000 apps exist on this thing. So if you're a bird watcher, if you're into any type of niche activity, there will likely be something on Apple that you can download to your iPhone.
Yeah,
and
so
actually,
these apps are applications. You download them. You can play games, or you can, can help you identify birds, as you said, or songs. I like that one, where you can just have it listen to and tell you what song it is. Now, neither one of you get paid by the companies whose devices you like. You're not here selling them, and so you know that they're not perfect devices. April, is there anything about the BlackBerry that drives you crazy, or at least bugs you?
Well, the thing that probably bugs me the most is that there is such an aura about the iPhone. So people that have iPhones, they're beautiful devices. Like you say,
well, let me see if I get this straight. What bugs you about the BlackBerry is that there's an aura about the iPhone?
Yeah, so if you have an iPhone, you get to be part of the club.
Yes.
You don't have an iPhone, you're not part of the club. And so I wish that RIM would make it easier for me to be part of the club. So, for example, you guys call me and say, do you want to be on national television talking about the BlackBerry? I got to think about that for a minute, because I think iPhone people are going to mock me tomorrow. I'm going to, people on Twitter are going to say, oh, you're the BlackBerry person, even though I think it is technologically a far superior device. For me, I've done the comparison. I'll tell you a story. I bought an iTouch because everybody kept talking about these 2,500,000, however many millions of applications.
Which is like an iPhone, except it doesn't have the phone function. It has pretty well everything else.
Right, it has everything else. So I could and it's cheap, so I could buy one and look at the applications and see, what am I missing? And this was a couple of years ago, but the #1 application on the iPhone at that point was an application called Tap to Fart. And so what this thing does exactly what you would think.
Yeah, we can figure that
You
out,
touch it, and you're right. So I'm thinking, this is a $400 whoopee cushion. I don't need this, right? And so people keep talking about these applications, but the vast majority of them are silly or not useful to me. And so yes, there's a lot, but the applications that I need are on the BlackBerry. Like I can do that Shazam thing that identifies the music
identifies
on the
music.
BlackBerry. I can do everything I need here too. So it's not like there's no apps here.
Quickly, Sean, is there anything you wish were different about the
Well, I
the
think you
iPhone?
mentioned the QWERTY keyboard. I mean, it would be nice to have something that actually pulled out, or like a hologram that you could touch. I think if there's, to give April at least a little bit of credit on the other side too, there's a bit of an arrogance of iPhone culture. The fact that you have the iPhone, you've actually come into a club or something. My choice is pretty rational. This helps me do stuff better. And I think sometimes people buy an iPhone not really knowing what they want it for, but just because it's in their hand, so.
Well, lots of people are making that choice every time they go into a cell phone company to get a new contract, so maybe you've helped steer them to the device of at least your choice. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks.